would have thought that turret diving a world's bot lane at level 2 was possible? Well, guess what? It is. And I'm not sure if you guys saw this game, but this was from Cloud9 against OCE's Peace, and Sven and Vulcan make the Peace bot lane peace out. But in all seriousness, in today's banger video, the Jizz is super excited because we are going to watch how you can absolutely unleash as an AD carry and win lane before it's even started, even if it's against a team at Worlds. And I also want to say that to get this pro view you're about to watch, I stole my dad's credit card for it, so don't tell anyone. But if you don't like this video for that alone, then we can't continue. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing you have to do, guys, that if you are in lane first, it doesn't matter who your support is, it doesn't matter which bot lane you're going against. If you are in lane and the enemy bot lane is not here, auto-attacking these melee minions just like Sven does is going to ensure you have the push. In other words, you're going to hit level 2 first. Now, what also matters here, though, is your positioning. You can see this Sven is standing pretty much parallel to his melee minions. Lots of AD carries here, despite having this minion advantage and pressure advantage, will still stand at their ranged minion line. This just means you're going to miss out on opportunities because at this point in the game, you want to be fighting the enemy bot lane. So positioning yourself in line with that minion wave collision is crucial. Now, it's also important here is actually where you stand in the lane in terms of top or bottom. Now, you can see that Rakan and Misfortune are hugging this bottom side brush here. So Sven, does he want to be near this brush or away from it? Well, obviously away from it, and this is why he holds the top side. This is diagonally opposite these two champions, and it makes it impossible if Rakan was to have his W to actually engage onto Sven, but he's still in a position, as you can see, where he's making contact with the wave, so he can still auto-attack the minions, but he's just in a position, if Misfortune and Rakan misplay, to capitalize on their mistake. Now, when this next wave comes in, this is wave number 2, and this is also going to mean level 2. Now, you can see Sven auto-attacks Misfortune once, and then backs off, just to de-aggro the minions, and at this wave, you can see his positioning is a lot more aggressive. It's actually beyond the enemy minions. This is because level 2 is somewhat imminent, and the blue team's minions outnumber the red so much. So even though you might have to push at level 1, it's only going to be like a 1 or 2 minion advantage. At this point in the lane, this will increase to 4 or 5 minions, and by putting yourself in a position like Sven here, if you are to trade with the enemy bot lane and get them low, when you hit level 2, your threat goes up even more just because the enemy champions are more killable. So when Misfortune runs up for no real reason and Sven auto attacks and then ease into her, gets his press the attack proc, this is a serious chunk of damage. And you can see that the minion aggro is pretty much minimal. He barely takes any damage. Now Sven does a very nice trick here on Lucian. He angles himself. So him, the CS he's about to Q, and Misfortune are all in the same line. This chip damage is nice, but just remember that if you are going to turret dive very soon, do not waste your cooldowns doing this. You want your cooldowns for the turret dive, but as you can see, Lucian's Q, it's on a low enough cooldown to do this. And then we have the first kill of the game. And this starts, guys, with an auto attack and then an E by Sven. Now, he also knows at this point that Rakan started his E because he showed this on the first wave. So Sven knows that Rakan does not have his W. So the counterplay for the Peace bot lane is really minimal. This allows Sven to auto attack twice after Eing using his passive, and then he's going to buffer his Q while auto attacking, and you can see the burst damage onto Misfortune here. One more auto attack, and that's first blood. So very clean execution by Sven, but again, it goes back to how he positions on the level 1 wave and how he actually secures the push by auto attacking the wave a few times. But after this play, how many of you would stay here and get this turret played, or you might clear the next wave? Well, the reason this is bad is simply because Misfortune is running back to lane, and to actually make use of this kill you have to spend the gold it gives you. Otherwise, from a practical standpoint, you are still a 0-0-0 champion. So Sven, because his wave is shoved in, is just going to recall, buy his items, and get back on the map ASAP, and you can see that Misfortune just has 5 CS at this point, but we still have to know how to change this lead into an absolute stomp and a 15-minute GG. So very standard stuff here. Sven is just going to auto attack these minions under his tower, and then you can see that when the next wave resets, he plays quite passively, standing around his ranged minions, and this is simply because the enemy Rakan might be in this bot side brush. So Sven, because Rakan might be in this bot brush, is going to hold the top side of the lane, and even though this is a 1v2, if Rakan was to jump in, it's really not the end of the world, and Sven can probably outplay them. But all of a sudden, Rakan shows on the map, and Sven, knowing that he has a level on the enemy Misfortune, he also has spent so much more gold at this point, he can play really aggressively, and look how his positioning changes. He moves in line with his melee minions, and sometimes even beyond it. This is going to deny minions, and you can see this blue cannon minion, this is going to die so Misfortune doesn't and get the gold for it. So not all the time you're going to get kills, you still have to accumulate a gold lead in other ways, and just denying minions by your positioning is one of the best ways for it. Now Sven again here knows that Rakan is still mid, we can see him on the map. So again, once this minion wave collides, he's going to move beyond the enemy range minions. So remember, once you've stacked one wave, that next wave that comes in, you can actually move beyond it to damage the weaker enemy champion, and this is exactly what Sven does. And guess what? He can still maintain contact with the wave, and he doesn't miss any minions for it. But in this situation, letting this misfortune auto-attack the wave is kind of troll, just because all of the enemy team is shown on the map, so Sven should know this is just a 1v1, so he really shouldn't allow this misfortune to auto-attack the wave and get the CS. So a little mistake here, but you can see that when his E is back up, he instantly gap closes into this 1v1 situation and again damages the misfortune. But Sven is actually going to turret dive the misfortune here, guys, for the second time and pick up his second kill of the game, and he starts off by using this Q trick where you can Q through the minion and hit the enemy champion, so a nice little bit of chip damage, and then what he's going to do is just simply walk into auto attack range of misfortune. This is really important because it's all about DPS. Then he's going to W the misfortune, which gives him a bit of movement speed, and then his passive again, so he's going to auto attack twice, then buffer his E while he's auto attacking, and then Q after those next two auto attacks, and that's another kill. He heals just so he doesn't die to the tower, and again, so many people in this situation after getting this kill, and there's enemy minions right here and turret blades for themselves, they're going to stay and get these. But this is bad if you don't need the gold, and Sven, to be honest, doesn't. He already has so much gold. Go back and spend it and get back on the map ASAP and win your lane harder. The longer you stay for unnecessary gold, the more time you're giving to the enemy bot lane to get back in the game. And because of these pack timers, it pretty much secures the win. But still, there are some more things we can do to completely kill this game off. So when Sven gets back to lane, you can see that the enemy bot lane for some reason has left this minion wave in this position. This is criminal, but it's only criminal if you punish them for it. So what you have to do is freeze this wave. Now the easiest way to freeze a wave like this is simply to leave the cannon minion, as you can see, and at least 3 range minions. This is because the cannon minion and the range minions, these are ranged. They don't have the RNG the melee minions have, because melee minions, as you've probably seen, can go on these crazy adventures around your wave into your tower, and the freeze breaks. So using these minions on your screen, this is a lot more consistent. Now once this wave is set up outside of your tower and in line with this wall here, your job is very simple. Just last hit, that's it. It keeps the wave here, and you can see that these blue minions are eventually going to die. This is what Misfortune and Rakan missed, and it's so much more impactful than just hard pushing a wave, simply because the wave is in a really bad position for the enemy bot lane. This will leave them vulnerable to your jungler, to your support, but Sven here, because this is a 1v2, has to kind of respect it, but I think he could actually potentially outplay these two champions, and the way to do this is simply by reacting to the enemy's counterplay. So remember how I mentioned at level 1, the big thing that's going to get Sven killed in this lane is the Rakan W. So Sven, all he has to do really is to E that W that Rakan might use, and you can see, and I'm sure Sven realized it after doing this, the damage he has onto Misfortune here. It's ridiculous, right? She's on 300 HP and she's so killable, and he still has his ultimate, but for some reason he's still scared of this Rakan. So if you do have some counterplay, guys, to the enemy threat, to the Rakan knockup, the Blitzcrank hook, the Thresh hook, whatever it is in that bot lane, and especially when you have a lead like this, you can be ultra aggressive and still sometimes 1v2. But even after this missed opportunity, perhaps Sven is about to kill the Rakan after Nami gets the lane. So you can see that when Vulcan comes in, Sven is going to be very aggressive onto this Rakan, and he's going to E in. Now why would you E in here if you need the E to dodge Rakan's W? Well, this is simply because Sven now has his flash, and he's going to flash away and pick up the kill. So that just goes to show you how important it is to understand why you need to use your cooldowns and how to use them in the lane as well. And after just tickling the rear end of Misfortune here with his culling, Sven tries to shove this wave, which is obviously the correct move because he wants to recall again at this point, but he just gets ganked by the Nidalee. But notice his positioning here. This is not going to allow Nidalee to jump onto him, simply because if he does get ganked from that direction, that is really the top side of the lane. So as Sven, like he is holding the bottom side, this gives him time to react to that gank, and Nidalee cannot touch him. In your games as well, do exactly what Sven does. Let your support die, do not try to save them, and just get back to base and back on the map ASAP. And you can see at this point in the game, there is a 30 CS lead for Sven, and he is 3-0, with 2 of those kills being solo tower dives. So take these tips into your games, guys, when you're playing in the bot lane. And once again, if you do enjoy these types of analyses, let us know by leaving a like down below. Also remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future daily uploads, and also make sure to check out the GameLeap website for all your League of Legends resources. For exclusive access to champion courses, guides, high elo VOD analyses, we have everything you need to improve and to become the best player you can possibly be. So check out the website, link down below, and until tomorrow's upload, this has been the Jizz. Bye.